Namaste and welcome, beloved mighty companions, to this holy circle of infinite light. Infinite, that's the operative word. Do not go past go directly to infinite. That's what Jesus is saying in a new covenant, because we can, because we're divine being. It feels beautiful to start with infinite light. Like my 7-year-old niece, this is so easy to see. Unless we don't want to, of course. But like, just be like little children. She's 7 years old and she looks and she goes, all is forgiven. Let's just ask, in the light of divine being, in infinite light of being, is all forgiven already? Is it done? Are we forgiven already in the light of divine being? Was the light looking for forgiveness? But the one who plays is consciousness, the play, no one doing it, consciousness playing as the game of the pinball machine of other. You can ask him, Jesus, is there a desire to play the ping pong pinball machine of other, bouncing off other all day? And pretending like we're not divine light? That's humbling. That you start to see for here, like how humbling it is and how grateful for the humbling. Like when your head's at your brother's feet, like glued down there. It's a glued down. I'm going to do the course without any help at all. I'm doing it by myself. Well, I'm wrong again, Jesus. Look at his stack of mighties. That's what it's take to get me right. Keep you pointed up. Is this like the power brokers come in? Oh, keep us straight up. As Jesus said, one hand up on me, the other one on your mighty, and hang on, because this is going to be a rocket ship. Someone wrote that in the group. This feels like a rocket ship. Yeah, this is a rocket ship. For those that are willing to look and starting to see that all the pain is in not looking. Pain is just not looking with Jesus. Oh, he's telling me, anyone who's in pain is not willing to hear my voice. Wow, okay. You can ask him, Jesus, if am I going to be in pain if I don't listen to your voice and hear what? Because it's an investment in every other voice, that one. Because if we listen to him, he's going to lead us right out of that. Right on out, dun, 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 done. To show us that we, as infinite beings, light, does the light know what pain is? Infinite light? Infinite light of being, no pain. The course isn't something that you're going to experience in the future. The course is now. Infinite light now. You are infinite. Just see in the light that you're infinite. You can't be anything other than infinite. Is the light telling you and whispering in your ear going, okay, that's really good, you're the light now, but you're done in 15 minutes? We really have to look at this, because this is how consciousness plays. The light, that's just so nice. I'm so calm. I'm so quiet in the light. And then it's like, Jesus, what happened to the light? I love this. It's so great. You start watching some of those, if it's guided, watch those satsang videos. You just see it. Muji, this was fantastic. What happened? There's still a desire below the level of awareness to give the light the boot. That's all it is. Okay, Jesus, show me where I want to give the light the boot. Yeah. Do I want to push the light out of my awareness? Do I have a desire, Jesus, below my level of awareness to say no to infinite light? And he says yes. And you go until he says it's gone. That will quickly put a big eraser on any arrogance. Because what happens is I'll just speak for myself. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm infinite. Well, who's saying that? Is the light saying I'm infinite? The ego's is a mechanism within consciousness to like move in and even try to take the light over. Ask Jesus, he'll tell you. Is consciousness a play to try to take the light over? We need Jesus so much. Just every passing day I see, just like Jesus, in the light of divine being and honesty of God, do I need your help out of this? It's like only that voice. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure. I think it's Yeda, if we can answer. We're pretty much in contemplation during the session. I'm not sure if you can't hear or not.
She can't hear.
Yeah, she can't hear. Yes, you do probably, well, can someone type her to let her know she has to go out and come back in? Her audio needs to be adjusted. Yeah, just, she has to do her audio settings differently.
She's trying to find, okay, you gotta move it along.
Okay, so we'll just come back around to chapter 12. And he's reminding me, in every instance where you ask me, I will tell you what is most helpful for healing the mind. And at the moment when it's realized what the surgical precision that he's offering and the help that's truly offered, there just won't be anything else worth doing other than looking at desire and how the speed that's offered. And again, when I read that in the text, how he's talking about precision, he's talking about effectiveness, efficiency and effectiveness. And he's having this big, long conversation with Helen about that. And I was going, why is he having me read this? You know how then he shows you something, then like the light goes bing. Because he's telling us, because he's in charge of the atonement and knows where all the bones are buried, as we talked about before, about how he gave me the image in the mind of the metal detector on the beach, where you have to turn it on by asking him, and then he's going to go find where all the nose are buried. to release the gold that we hid on our beach that we don't remember that we hid. But we can't do the metal detector's job. And we can't have an argument with the metal detector. That's what this is. This is one big argument with the metal detector that's trying to beepin to tell us, okay, look right there. So learning to listen and speak his words and just really listening so he can bring you down into the mind. He's going to go with you. He's not sending you into a dark cave by yourself. Sort of like Yoda did. But that was that Dagobah cave scene is off the rails because it's exactly what it is. It's like going to that Joker movie. Yoda said to him, when Luke says, okay, so what's in that cave? He's on Dagobah, in case you haven't seen the clip yet. It's on the Facebook message group that we have. So if you're not on that and you want to be on it, just text us. We'll put you on it. And that's where some of these things are getting shared. It's not for social sharing, no social sharing. It's if we share it, it's in purpose. So anyway, Luke's in Star Wars is on Dagobah. And he's getting trained by Yoda. This sounds familiar, isn't it? He's carrying Yoda around on his back, and he gets an assignment for Yoda, go into the cave. And Luke goes, well, what's in there? And Yoda goes, only what you bring in there with you. And that, I won't tell the whole thing because it's on there. You can watch that little clip. It's very
No,
short.
estoy tratando de encontrar algo, pero no puedo conectarme con estos minutos.
But you'll see that's exactly what's happening in consciousness. We're getting back exactly what we see, exactly what we desire to see within consciousness. And so he went into that cave and found what he was looking for. So if we go into the Joker movie in a state of fear, we've already made, see how that creates a sense of future, that something's going to happen. Then we can spend time with Jesus and go, Jesus, will you show me this desire for an experience of fear? Ask Jesus if you're required to go to Joker and be in fear. Is he asking you that? He's asking you to go and just learn that regardless of what's appearing in form, like we talked about the movie Hacksaw Ridge, and that you as an infinite being of God have infinite power to be able to hear that voice, whether it's a volcano, whether it's a firestorm, whether it's anything. Because there's nothing more powerful. And you can ask him, Jesus, in the light of divine being, is there anything more powerful than the voice for God? Like, you can hear that quick. No. It's only the play in the dream, the desire. Do I have a desire to have a dream that seems more powerful than God? Oh, will you help me with that? You can start to see these desires. The consciousness desires an experience of saying no to itself, for something outside of itself to seem to have more power than light. And yet when we look with the light, does the light have anything more powerful than light? Infinite power. I will tell you what is most helpful for healing the mind. Remember, this need not be thoughts, feelings, emotions because you made them. So let's just ask them. Jesus, in the light of divine being and honesty of God, in the light, is have I miscreated a boo-boo? It's just a boo-boo, okay? A miscreation of thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and see what he says. Are thoughts, feelings, or emotions real? And hear what the light says. Jesus said, that's all I'm trying to show you. Nothing is real. Because you made them and thus concede that they are untrue. And he's reminding again, just like the Course, you have merely to notice when you're not at peace and ask with willingness to be shown. And so this is just a reminder, that's all he's doing. And we're just opening up that he's the one who shows us what we need to see. He's the one. See, what happens, we just get involved in all that noise up here. And, you know, and all the emotions and all that kerfuffling, and we don't get down to with him where he's going to show us. Let me show you where the plant, manufacturing plant is for that experience. Do not underestimate your power as infinite being to immediately focus on the light of truth, to accept the correction, and to ultimately see that no correction is necessary. So this is a helpful review to remember. See that the light doesn't know what a correction is. Does infinite light know what a correction is? Is it looking around for something to judge, or it's just isness? That's the natural state. Light, peace. And out of that pours the resonance of beingness, joy. As Muji calls it, the perfume. The perfume of joy, resonance of being. Since your focus is on what never happened, the moving, ultimately you must see that this focus, and we were talking about focus, this is helpful to see the play in consciousness, to focus on what is not and start to focus on what is infinite light. So this is a really beautiful, spoke to him quite a bit about emotions and to talk to him a lot about emotions. And there can be some confusion in the play that releasing emotions is the release. It's the release of the denial. Oh, now Grace is asking a beautiful question about, are we on page 60? We're on page, I can't even read that, so tiny. 65. What I would say to you here and suggest is for the light circles, it's a deep contemplation. So we're really contemplating as the thoughts come out and just go to Jesus. Okay, Jesus, do I have that? And just really be with Jesus. And then the page numbers will give out so that if there are areas that you want to go back and have a more in-depth conversation with, you can go back in the book. That he's really emphasizing. So that's a great question, Grace. Thank you for asking that. He's really emphasized, just be and check in with them, because we're learning that direct dialogue with them. So he's direct. He's saying it is not automatically given that emotions must be experienced. See, emotions are part of objective experience. They're powered by beliefs. They're powered by desire for experience. Emotions are part of the mechanism of the expression of the denial of divine nature and support the belief that the world exists, and are used by consciousness to try and prove a me. So it's not the emotional release, it's the release of the desire below the level of awareness. And you can ask him, Jesus, can a single emotion, if there's no desire, if the desire is cleared from consciousness, can motions express? They're too high up in the play. Now you might get a release, you know, it's beautiful. I was joining with Jessica on that in how that attentiveness to whether or not an emotion is released or is it holding on to? Are we holding on to something? And by and large with emotions, it's something we don't want to see. Ask Jesus. You can ask him, he'll tell you. They're part of the denial. So it's really releasing underneath it the desire, the wanting of that experience. It's like the honesty of God is, I feel sad. No, I desire an experience of sadness. Show me the desire for the experience of sadness. And it returns to the source of it, the desire for the play of the dream of denial of light. Thus, the attempt to prove there's something happening to a me. See that they are a clue to what you've denied yourself. They are an intertwined part of the storyline. There is an addiction to experiencing them as well as suppressing them. We can ask him, Jesus, is there an addiction to experience emotions? And hear what he says. Is there an addiction below my level of awareness to experience emotions? Is there an addiction below my level of awareness to try to suppress emotions? So the addiction's really to the experience of emotions. It's an addiction to desire. Ask him, you can ask him, Jesus, what's the addiction? The addiction is to the desire for experience. The desire for an experience in consciousness. So everything you can confirm, like nothing that, and see for yourself, really. That's the whole point of this, that by looking as the light, as infinite light, and going to the light for every answer, every single line can be confirmed for us. That's how powerful we are. By looking with the light and looking with Jesus, he'll confirm everything for us. Divine nature does not know emotions. Just see, in the light of divine being and honesty of God, does the light demand that we experience emotions? He's saying the emotions are a denial of supreme happiness. It's not to judge him. We're not judging him. He's just showing, okay, let me show you where the play is in consciousness for objective experience. The wanting, the itch. How consciousness plays in emotion, dabbles in emotions. Thus, so as they are created, so they can be dispelled. It is the belief that emotions are true and must be experienced or denied for salvation that is the idea arising in the subconscious mind. The idea that they must be experienced. They may spontaneously arise, like the Jesus, see that the light doesn't judge emotions. This is just the question, what are they for? What's it for? What's the purpose? See that emotions cannot tell you who you are. Ask, in the light of divine being and honesty of God, can emotions tell you who you are? Can they ever tell you, is light the only thing that can tell you who you are?
Yes.
The light's the only thing that knows who we are. See that these are a desired experience. When the desire falls away, emotions are no longer experienced. You believe them to be true and necessary, thus they manifest for you. So we can ask him, Jesus, do I believe emotions are necessary? Again, it's not to judge them. They may arise. But the speed up is to look, okay, Jesus, show me what's underneath this. The world was created in rage, and can be hidden in emotions, the world of pleasure and pain, yet you have only to admit this is true and ask for correction. There is no requirement that you experience rage as a stage for awakening. That's helpful. See that the light doesn't know what rage is. What's beautiful is seeing that how rage displays in a multitude of ways within consciousness. As we talked about before, this keeps coming in from Jesus, obviously, for me to see, and that is that it can look like apathy. Rage can look like rage of sadness. It's all this hidden in all these diversified ways, which is just a no to light. You only have to be willing to release to the Holy Spirit the energetic investment in rage's experience. We can ask the light that. Is all I have to do is release to the Holy Spirit, give over to Jesus the desire for rage's experience, and ask the light. So what he's doing, instead of focusing, okay, I'm going to try to release rage, which the ego can use in so many ways, he's going, let's look at the desire underneath it for the experience of rage. To deny divinity. The desire for rage to deny divine nature. This is what is meant by let us join quickly in an instant of light. Focus on the light within to see, does the light know what rage is? The light's dial is always up to infinite. It's always pointing up to infinite. Focus on the light within. Join immediately with me or your brother as my representative, the light that you are, to quickly see what is true. And go down the elevator. It was like that movie Memento, I talked about that, where he gets an opportunity to go down. This guy is the Holy Spirit tried to come in and tell him, look, you're delusional. And of course, no, I'm not delusional. He really wanted to keep the error in this movie. You can see it. It's such a beautiful display of that. Well, but you can hear in that movie where the character goes, look, I'll take you down to the basement and show you what's going on. He's like, oh no, I don't want to see that. That's it. That's all Jesus is trying to do, is like, let me show you what's underneath all this hoo-ha that's up here in consciousness. And as he takes you down in the basement and you see the death wish, but you look under the death wish, ask him what's under the death wish and hear his answer. Infinite. Light. That's all he's trying to show us. Ask him, in the light of divine being and honesty of God, Jesus, are all you trying to show me is that I'm light? And hear his answer. So the light is simple. The no's are legion. It's a march of an army. But it's still, you can even see, even if it is an army, does it have any power over infinite light? What is most helpful is following guidance in this regard. Ask me what is most helpful and listen carefully for the answer. And we've talked about this and we laugh about it here too. And when I've had joinings, as soon as you start looking, the ice cream truck, the pizza truck's gonna come, the water bottles are gonna be delivered, the mind's gonna wander off into, I wonder when dinner is, a friend's gonna call. And it really does take focus. You can ask Jesus, does this take focus? It's a commitment to ourselves, really. It takes conviction. He says, the conviction that you have greater value than the idea that you have of who you are right now. This conviction of us coming together and continually looking. Go, Jesus, okay, show me. You will see quickly that rage and light do not coexist. So let's just ask him, Jesus, and look in the light of divine being, infinite light, and put a thought of rage, something you were just so smoking about, and just put that in the light of the infinite light and see what happens to that. Does that exist in light? Does light and rage coexist? That's all he's trying to show us. It's like impossible. Then we just giggle about it in these joining sessions. It's just a giggle festival. So you don't take it so seriously. We can get together and just laugh our heads off at how the play is, how we've been playing the Joker the whole time, wanting to stick a fork in our brother. At least he's honest about it. That's honesty of God, admitting that you want it. That's honesty of God. Don't give the movie away. Don't worry, it'll be a surprise. It'll be a real surprise. Plenty, there's so much in that. That's why it's a great eraser. Okay. You'll see. Oh, this is a really good one. This is Jesus now, and we're going to check this out in the light. Okay, so just stay in deep meditation now on these. You're getting a conversation. Stay deep, stay really deep with Jesus on these. Okay, I love y'all all. Okay, because he's coming up on some good stuff here. This is the juice. This is. This is the stuff will smoke you. You'll feel toasted, but it's a happy toasting. Okay, here we go. I love that when he's showing you something. So many beans are testing me. Boy, chapter 6. It's so much fun when Jesus gives you a little toast because you just get cuddled by infinite love. Okay. And that'll happen more repeatedly too. And I've said this, so it feels really inspiring to say it again for me, that you'll start when you turn to the light, where because there was a desire to always say no, and actually a desire for experience to look at the light and feel bad. Okay, when that starts washing out and you start turning to the light to listen, you get a little love cuddle. A little love, it's like, aw. It's like that. Get a little love cuddle because you're listening to yourself, your true self speaking in there. Okay, so he says, I have no requirement for rage to be experienced, but the idea you have of yourself might. See that the light, does the light have a rage on its checklist? Does the light have rage in there? And like, okay, you've got to experience light to wake up. Rage, ask the light. Is rage and light anywhere in there?
No.
So the light has no requirement. That's why Jesus says in a course, it can be simple. It's the no that's complex.
Mhm.
Jesus, is there a desire below my level of awareness to experience rage? Let me see in there. I'm looking. I always look at these. Okay. Is there any rage in there? I'm willing to see it. Will you show me? And you can literally just sit with him with rage and let him just wind you down. Okay, Jesus. All right, I admit it. If he says it, okay, I admit I want rage. I want rage more than light. And just go down the elevator. Okay, what's below that? What's below that? What's below that? And that's why we're doing it together in twos, where you can really focus together on listening together and look under these things together. And you will see how deep the desire is to project outside of yourself, to blame your brother as God's representative in your mind and yourself and God. It's the stacking. As soon as you recognize and willing to admit us, it's not you, the play in consciousness admits that there is no other. Does the light have an other? Is there any place out there for rage to go? Can you find a place, like, even if we want rage, can it go anywhere in the light of divine being? It's the light's here. So then it's like, oh, wait a minute, this is a boomerang. I'm trying to toss out a boomerang and it's always coming back because there's no other out there. I have no judgment on rage or any other expressed emotion, as I know it does not exist. So asking me directly how to handle every arising experience is the fastest and most helpful means to know your true nature. If that is where your heart is. Trust that because you have called me to you, that whatever is arising is in your best interest, as you are in the highest function possible for this world. Let's ask the light that. In the light of divine being and honesty of God, is this the highest function of this world? The recognition of infinite light. The recognition of your perfection as God made you. It is simply impossible for me to be apart from you. In the light of divine being and honesty of God, is it possible for Jesus to be apart from us in honesty of God? And hear his answer with all the love given by God. It's impossible for him to be apart from us. There's only one in the light. See, in the light, there's just, the light doesn't even know what one is. It just is. It doesn't have a number to count. God has called you home to celebrate, and the voice within that knows you are his, with a capital H, knows that you are God's, answers the call. Perception unifies as an energetic investment in desire is willingly seen through. And without desire, emotions do not arise. That's why Jesus split emotions into two, fear and love. Love is so conceptualized. Just keep focusing on the light and then let the light teach you of love. Let the light, just like I know nothing about love, like nada, 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 nothing about love. Start with that. Because Jesus tells us, and you'll discover, Jesus, do I have love confused with hate? He said that's the sword fight in the play of consciousness. Concepts duking it out with each other. That's why we have to go empty-handed to God. Because the discombobulation play, that's going to be another good one in Spanish. The desire to experience confusion in consciousness about true identity. It's a desire, Jesus, in the light of divine being and honesty of God, do I desire an experience to be confused about who I am? That's the entire play in consciousness, is to have an experience, a desired experience of being confused about the light, which doesn't even know what confusion is. Does the light have any confusion about what it is? So he just reminds, stay as the light and let the light gently, as Jessica said so beautifully in the joining, it's a still voice. It's a gentle, still voice that reminds you that your only setting on your dial is infinite. And then don't change the dial from that voice. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you for these devoted brothers who are so devoted to, like, straight up. It's like pure happiness that we can come together and just laugh ourselves silly, really. That's what Jesus is offering in this, to play with him. Just play with him. He's going to crack you up. So funny. He's really funny. He knows what you think is funny, and he knows it. And he knows what's going to crack you up. I'm like walking around and he'll say something like it's going to crack you up because he knows we're playing this serious game. Let's just check with the light. Is the light serious?
No.
We need to be focused, not frivolous. He's not talking about frivolous things. But the laughter over seeing how impossible it is. We're already light. It's like too late. It's already taken care of. And then to play in consciousness with the big N-O is hilarious. Even it's too late. See that in the light of divine being, there is only light. And there's no backing out of light. Let's see, as hard as we want to try, is there a way to escape infinite light? Just really try. See if you can get away from that light anywhere you go. Go to the bank, light's still here. Go down the stairs, check for the light. This sounds funny, but this is what's necessary. I hear Jesus, like this is necessary. Because otherwise the play in consciousness will be, oh, it's gone. No, see that you can check in anytime. Let me see. Going to the bathroom, fixing your hair in the mirror. Is the light still here? Check in. Infinite light. Is there still infinite here? And by focusing on that, less and less the play of saying no can fall away. And then there's just infinite. And the happiness of releasing all these desires, the joy, like the pure joy. Everything the Father's promised us. Hashtag supreme happiness. That's where we're going together. Supreme happiness and no exceptions. Thank you, Jesus. Happy hologram.
Happy hologram.
Happy hologram.
That was great. I'm so